use the word real functional training, and real is an acronym for realistic exercises are executed with perfect form at a high intensity, leaving you with a body that looks as good as it performs.
Good. So we're in the same place.
We're in the same boat. You know, it's just like if it's not a real movement, like to me, the Bosu ball thing, like the one-legged squat on the Bosu ball, it's a cool party trick, right? But all it makes you better is doing a one-legged squat on a Bosu ball.
Exactly. It's good for picnic tricks. That's about it, though.
That's it. There's no relationship. But I like to teach people, you know, how to stabilize on one leg, how to learn working up to things like handstands, work on their pull-ups, just basic stuff that people really forgot. And sometimes they go way too far the other direction before they should come back and just really learn how to move their body well.
I agree with you. As an athlete, I used to do handstand push-ups.
Yeah, one of my favorite.
In the gym,
shoulders.
you don't see that. That would be considered functional training, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. When I had my car accident, I couldn't use my right arm for a few years.
Right.
So I taught myself how to do one handstand push-ups using one arm. I would have my brother or my father hold my legs,
okay.
And I would do that. Now, as an athlete, I could do that. I could do either hands. I used to be able to walk up the steps at the stadium in college on my hands.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
See, yeah. So that's functional training.
Yeah.
A good friend of mine is Mitch Gaylord. Mitch Gaylord was the 1984 Olympic gold medalist for gymnastics.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now, the way he trained as a gymnast and the way he trains now at 53 is different.
Yeah.
But he still trains in a functional way.
Sure. Sure.
I think, you know, I cannot do some types of things that will be considered functional training simply because of the limitations I have. You know, last night I was helping my daughter move furniture. Fine with my left arm. My right wrist doesn't turn. So just moving, you know, I have about a third movement, maybe a half movement of my right wrist as far as rotating like this. So there's certain things I can't do. So my limitations are because of an accident. Certain people's limitations might simply be because they've been not working out for 30 years.
Right.
Their body fat level is too high. They don't have the core strength to do certain things. So I think people should just be cautious with that type of thing.
Yeah,
and if they're going to do functional training, is follow a guy like you who knows how to do it, that shows you how to do things with the way your body was designed to do them.
And start slow. That's the biggest thing. Start slow and be consistent, and you really make results over time. That's really powerful. Well, you know, another thing that was interesting, I was poking around your product the other day, and I really liked the nutrition component because you mentioned Vince Gironda, right? And everybody talks about this paleo diet.
Yeah.
This brand new paleo diet, right?
Yeah.
But if you look back at the way those old timers trained and the Vince thing, the Gironda diet was pretty much the paleo diet, right?
You know the way bodybuilders, it's funny. Do you know who Rick Drayson is?
No, I don't.
He's an old-time bodybuilder. Okay. He's actually the guy who designed the Gold's Gym and the World Gym logos. Mm-hmm. Him and I are getting ready to start a radio show together.
Oh, cool.
But I was just out in L.A., and him and I had lunch at the Firehouse. And we were talking about eating, because we were both eating the same way. And I said, back in the 70s, because he was Arnold's training partner, when you trained with Arnold, how did you eat? He goes, we ate like crazy. He goes, Monday through Saturday, we ate all the protein and vegetables we could eat. He goes, then on Sunday, we went nuts. We ate our pizzas and we ate, you know, they ate like paleo before paleo was around. You know?
It's so, and that was their leaning up method, right? That was just the cyclical carb. Everybody just repackages this another way, but it's really just about, hey, get your protein and veggies, like you're saying, and get them from a good source. Don't eat garbage, and then kick your heels up once a week.
Exactly. The 30-second diet solution is eat the protein, and obviously try to get it from healthier sources if you can, but get all the protein you want. Try to get at least 1 gram per pound of body weight. Eat all the green vegetables that you want. And then complex carbs is going to be something and fruit. You need to pay attention to how your body responds to it. Yeah. Some people can eat, 200, 300, 400 grams of complex carbs a day and stay lean. Others, like me, need to keep it under 100 grams a day in order to stay lean, and then I bump it up maybe once or twice a week if my muscles are feeling flat.
Yeah.
But that's from a guy who's an athlete who pays attention to that. The average person should just keep their complex carbs pretty low, protein and vegetables pretty high, and you'll be about as lean, as healthy as you want to be.
Yeah, it's incredible how complex we make it and how simple it really is for most people.
Well, it's a $200 billion a year business, so it makes people very wealthy, making it very confusing. And that's not taking into consideration the money the government makes and special interest groups make off of making it very confusing. Basically, what you do is, if you're in the gym, you watch what everybody else is doing and you do the opposite, and you'll get good shape. Same thing with eating. Watch what everybody else is doing and do the opposite. And to make it even a step better, watch what the government is telling you what to do with their food pyramid, and then turn it on its head, and you'll be healthy.
Yeah. Oh man, we could go on for hours about that one. I'm sure we could get into some political debates here, no doubt. Well, let's dig into something else that you're talking about. You said you want to connect the physical, mental, spiritual. We've talked a lot about kind of the physical, the superficial stuff that's really easy to understand. What about the mental stuff, John? How do people kind of step up their game and really make a change? One of the biggest things that you kind of just mentioned was people are trying too many things, then they're absorbing information from too many sources. Yeah. So how do you get people motivated to stay consistent?
No, it's funny. I like to tell people it's more important what goes in your head than what goes in your mouth. Right. And because, most people, let's face it, most people today, if you looked at the way they're eating, okay, they're not eating right. But if you talk to them about the way to eat, they know how to eat. Most people know how to eat. It's very. I don't think I've ever met a person that truly doesn't know.
Right, they're doing the wrong thing.
The right way to eat. The bottom line is, what most people do is they use food as a drug. So the same people that, like, I go to church, I talk to my pastor, and my pastor at the time was overweight. He was about 30, 40 pounds overweight. This is several years ago. And I said, "You're the first guy to say that you shouldn't drink alcohol or do drugs, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "But yet you're using food as your drug." And that's what most people do. They use food to deaden the pain. They use food as a drug to maybe help them sleep, and they start eating bad. So the bottom line is, do what you know. And secondly, most of what we do on a daily basis, 90%, maybe even more than that, is habit. Yeah. So the key is developing good habits. You eat bad now. Eating bad now is a habit. Well, create a new habit of eating good. You have a habit now of maybe not exercising very much, or watching TV, or doing things that are making you unhealthy and fat. Well, get in the habit of going to the gym. Put it in your schedule and make it something that's going to be a habit. And eventually, the healthy habits will outweigh the bad habits. And in fact, in my last book, In the Power of Positive Fitness, I've got a thing in there called the lifestyle restoration cycle. And all that is through each section of the book, I have them go in there and define the habits that are limiting them, define habits that would make them healthier and strong in each of the area of their lives, and then one by one replace the bad habits with the good habits. It's as simple as that. It really doesn't take motivation. Everybody talks about motivation, and even me, when I'm out on the speaker circuit, they call me a motivational speaker. You know what? Motivation's a warm bath. These people are motivated while they're sitting in the seats. They may even be motivated by the time they get to their car. Yeah. But by the time they get home, their habits are taking over. Motivation is not doing anything for them.
Right. Yeah. No, that's really powerful. I love how simple you make that. It's just identify the bad things, identify the good things, and just one at a time, make the switch.
Well, let me ask you, you've been doing this for a long time. Is it really any more complicated than that?
No, it really isn't. And I tell people all the time, I used to give people this big list, like a sheet full of stuff to do at home, right? And I give them the list and nothing happens. And then I realized I was the idiot, right? And so then I started giving them a small little piece of paper, like this big, and it said, drink more water. And I said, okay, when you can do that for 7 days, I'll give you another piece of paper, right? Yeah. And that's when I started to see that lasting change. Because some people can rip off the Band-Aid and do everything at once, but I seldom see that last. Yeah, maybe 1% of people can really do that. The other 99%, like you said, we need to build those habits gradually, and over time, that's when we see somebody reshape their lives. And that's how we feel the most gratified, I'm sure.
And that's the way we do it as well. When I'm trying to change my nutrition program, or if I'm changing my workout, very first thing I do is I go to my schedule and put it in my schedule. Yeah. I want to start working out 6 days a week versus 4 days a week. I schedule it. Yeah. And then that's the most important. Schedule I have for the day. It's the most important appointment I have for the day is one with myself. And if people just do that, they put the important things. It's like Stephen Covey in his book, "The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People." I find him to be one of the most boring human beings on earth, but he says, but he's really good because he takes these things and makes them simple. Yeah. He talks about putting the big rocks in first. Put the big rocks in, then the smaller rocks in, then the sand, then the water. And that's how you do your schedule. And I'm only joking about it. I don't know him. I just, you know, I read the book and it's powerful because of the content, but it puts me to sleep, you know.
Yeah.
I need to be entertained.
I got that one on audio and listened to it. That was a little easier for, and I had 2 times speed in my ears, you know.
Yeah, but he's great. He's great because he takes these simple analogies and makes them real in your life.
Yeah, that's great. Well, you've shared a ton of wisdom here, John. I'd like to just touch on one more thing before you take off today.
Sure.
And you know, you were successful as an athlete. You were successful in the business world. You're successful now in the fitness world and the motivational speaking world. What's your secret? What is something that people can take home right now to make their lives better, become more successful?
You know, it's no secret. Most people are afraid. Yeah. Most people are afraid of failure, and you know, it's almost a proverb. I've always looked at my life as a challenge. When I was a runner, I always set bigger and better goals. As a business person, or as a person, I personally feel God has me here for a reason, and if I don't fulfill that reason, I've been a failure. And I'd rather fail trying than fail not trying. And as I look around my life, you know, people who are close to me, you know, family members or friends, most of the people that I know have failed simply because they haven't tried. It's not because they failed because they went out and tried something big and tanked. Yeah. You know, believe me, I've tanked. I tried big things, and you know, some of them have failed, and some of them have failed miserably. But and if they had, you know, if the Guinness Book of World Records had a picture in there for failure, they'd have my picture. I failed more than most. But the reason I failed more than most is because I've tried more than most.
Right.
And whether it be getting into Manhattan real estate, everybody told me, go to Brooklyn. Go get a job in Brooklyn as a property manager. While you're doing that, go to school at nights and get your college degree and come back when you're in your 40s. I got out of Manhattan real estate before I was 40.
Right.
And they would tell, if I would have listened to them, I would have been plodding away and working, you know. Don't listen to people. Most people want to limit you by their limitations. You know, most people know inside what they should be doing. And I truly believe that God plants the seed of greatness in us, and along with that seed of greatness is the destination for our life. And most people hamper that. You know, starting in first grade, you know, they start telling you what you can do and what you can't do. And everybody does it out of a good heart. You know, they want to see you. They don't want to see you be disappointed. But for goodness sakes, my kids, I'm not too worried about them being disappointed. Go out and I've got 4 kids and 2 grandchildren. I want them going out and challenging the world. I want them going out and taking their God-given potential and pushing it to the absolute limit.
Right.
And if you fail, be disappointed. But at least you're disappointed up here instead of disappointed down here with everybody else. Yeah. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't think it's a big secret. I just think go out and challenge the world and challenge yourself. And I think more people are. I think you're more satisfied when you're challenging yourself, even if you don't succeed at that particular level. My track coach used to tell me, he goes, shoot for the stars. You may land on the moon, but you're going to be better off than the people who were not shooting for the stars. And a lot of times I landed on the moon. Sometimes I missed the moon and landed back on Earth, but it hurt. But you get up and you dust yourself off and try again.
Yeah. Oh, man, that's fantastic. I always tell people in the fitness industry, I've learned everything I know, not from any certifications or gurus, but from failing over and over again myself, and then realizing what was the better path to go. So that's fantastic. John, I really appreciate your time today. What a great call. Some great nuggets of wisdom there. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I do want one thing in closing I want to touch on. I think it was Cary Grant who once said this. He was online to a restaurant, and somebody went up and said, you shouldn't be waiting online. Do you know who you are? And he goes, my good man, if you have to tell people, you're not. And the bottom line is, if somebody's out there saying, you know, because you mentioned gurus. Yeah. If somebody's a guru, run the other way, man. Go find somebody like yourself or somebody, you know, Tyler, or, you know, somebody else out there who's been doing it and working hard. But gurus, if they need to say they're a guru, they're not.
That's a good tip. Awesome, man. Thanks so much.
Tyler, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you having me on today.